Young people who stay connected with education and complete Year 12 experience better employment opportunities, financial security, health and wellbeing. Our community has a strong social and financial imperative to keep young people connected to education.
Things have happened in their life that have just caused so many disruptions and sort of trusting people and motivation, and it might be anxiety. So there could be a vast array of different barriers, and for some of them it's really hard to overcome that.
Me and my friends had a falling out, and I got kicked out of that group pretty much. But yeah, and then stopped all my work and didn't want to go to school anymore because I had no friends, and yeah.
Flexible learning environments are crucial for young people unable to succeed in a formal education setting.
I suffered severe bullying in Year 10 and became really depressed and stopped attending school, and I moved to Wirreanda. It was okay for a little while, and then it started returning, and I couldn't really cope again, and I wasn't going to be able to pass high school. I wasn't going to be able to really achieve much.
This film investigates the core elements of 3 flexible learning centres which support young people as they re-engage with education and achieve accredited learning outcomes, all within an environment that caters for their wellbeing.
The first thing was to find the space, which we did do, and to get it set up in such a way that it wasn't going to remind the students of school. All right, the students have been disengaged, have been out, for want of a better word, out in the wilderness for 12 months prior to stepping foot into the centre. So we had to make it a welcoming environment. We had to give them the feel of home. We had to give them the right people to start engaging them in learning.
Students often find that things they're doing in the community can actually be counted as part of their school. And I guess the flexibility, we have so many different students with so many different issues, or they might be working or sick or doing courses or other things that we can try and capture what we can, I guess, and put that into learning.
I'd lost totally all interest. I didn't like the teachers and how they taught, and all my mates were older than me, so they finished school, so I kept going to their houses and that sort of thing instead of going to school, which Paul came up to me and talked to me in person about trying WAVE, which was the first year, which I agreed to.
The students don't really like big groups. They like one-on-one. They need that individualised attention. They have had big gaps in their learning, and therefore they need that backup time.
Some of our students had never achieved anything, like completing a subject or anything like that. So when that did happen, there was that real sense of achievement. It's like, I can do this. And that often starts a process that when they actually do achieve something, then suddenly it's like, oh, I can do the next thing.
I think at the beginning it was just support. They encouraged me and told me that I could achieve what I wanted to. My timetable was quite flexible, and I could work it sort of around myself and around them, and it made it a lot easier to get back into that routine of studying once I'd been away for so long. It wasn't just straight bang, you've got class this day, this day, this day, this day, this day. They sort of made it work.
We work with the families to try to support them, and it may take a few years, and it might be adjusting and just working on the wellbeing side rather than the educational side, and then, you know, there may be that flicker of hope.
Coming back to school when your previous experience wasn't a happy one, it takes a huge amount of courage, and sticking it out takes a lot of resilience.
Hello Morgan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. I'll sign you in today?
Yeah.
The relationship between the teacher and the learner in that kind of environment is critical to whether or not that young person or older person is able to stay. You know, the things that, just because of the way you have to control and monitor younger people's behaviour, those things that can cause issues aren't such issues, and so we can focus on other things.
At the high school, I was always that kid at the back of the class, on my phone, legs up, being a smart ass, throwing stuff at people. And I come here and it's just like, everyone can see me, so I can't really do any of that, so I'll just be normal.
A youth-friendly, welcoming environment is the key to successful learning centres. Young people feel safe to learn where the centre is a vibrant and inviting space that inspires trust and mutual respect.
Wave understands that you can't always come in. You can call up if your son's sick or you can't make it, and they understand that you can come in the next day and complete your work, and they're just there to help you if you need the extra care.
My first day here, I just felt relaxed and just started on my work. I've been in 2 hairdressing courses. I've had work experience at one of the highest hairdressing salons in Adelaide, and that's pretty much all because of ILC. They've helped me that much that, I've just felt more confident in myself and everything.
It's a very welcoming, friendly environment. There's lots of staff around for support and help. It's that individualised teaching time, as well as the multidisciplinary team, with youth workers and SSOs and teachers, so everyone working together for the student.
It's like home. I feel comfortable with explaining what's going on, and we have a respect between us. I can say what I need to without being told off and told to go sit in a room for an hour or pick up rubbish and stuff like that.
We work on the principles of an adult learning environment where we all respect one another and people take responsibilities for their actions. They make choices in life.
I wanted to join the Army. I was going through the application process and I got turned down because of my education during year 9 and 10.
So we have a very thorough process in regards to the SACE and making sure that they are on track, they have the subjects they do need to achieve it, and then actually providing with a copy to show them that they are only these couple of subjects or they are these couple of competencies away from getting their say. So I think that actually drives the student, it motivates them because they can see how much they have achieved.
So Paul helped me get back with WAVE and do my Cert 1 and 2 of Education and Skills.
When you are working with a lot of young people with a lot of negative experiences in their life, empowering the staff to take the responsibility is so good, and they achieve so much with the young person.
The first knockback I took really killed me. When I went back, started this year and applied again, they were quite impressed and everything, and I passed everything. So it was really good to actually hear that, and being knocked back for just lifetime experience isn't too bad.
I guess it's the same with the young parents. It's all about the relationship you build. So when we create this space that we're sat in at the moment, it's going to be a space for them to come with their children, and the children can be free and easy to do what they want, but they'll also learn, and we'll interact with them as well. So hopefully that we're giving the parents the skills and an understanding of the development of their little people.
Anything you need help with, you can ask them. They'll either, if they can't help you, they'll find someone that can, whether it's to do with children or just your personal living or whatever it's with.
They come to you and sound off. They also come for you for support, and they come for you for acknowledgement that you know that they're doing the right thing and they're in the right place, or they just want to just know, where am I going next.
I never thought I was going to do it in a lifetime, which is, it was really good. Everyone was proud of me when I finished it, and I was proud of myself. It was something I did not think I would ever do.
In turn, I think that support helps the learning to happen, because the learning can be, tailored and can be more individualised for the student.
The success of flexible learning centres relies on the commitment of school leaders working authentically with their community partners. These partnerships, supported by multidisciplinary teams of highly qualified professionals, are uniquely placed to cater for educational, social and emotional needs.
What we want is to try to provide proactive support for those young people to develop behaviours and attitudes that are much more conducive to operating in a school community, in the local community, in the workplace, wherever they want to be.
Before I was pregnant, I'd seen how they handled things and stuff like that, and other mums that were in here. So it was sort of comforting, I guess, saying like I can still go on with what I wanted to do. So yeah, it's really good.
You do need to have your youth workers in a program like this. You do need to have your teachers who are teaching the subjects and have an understanding of SACE. You need to have your people who work within in job network who can work with the students, people with an outdoor recreation background who can do the community-based learning program and get the students out of their comfort zone and develop absolutely lifelong skills that the students need.
It's casual, not strict and proper, you know what I mean? Like you can bring him in and he can, you know, do what he wants. He can play around and be loud without just being like everyone's like, oh no, that child's in here. Like it's just really comfortable. And you can go, oh yeah, I'll bring him to school instead of going, oh, can someone look after him? You know, I don't want to take him in. It's not intimidating whatsoever.
We're on the cutting edge of what's out there with research and development. We are going off all the time and looking at Generation Y. We're looking at drugs and alcohol, sexual health, you know, dealing with anxiety, looking at students that are on the spectrum.
Well, when I was up in mainstream, I was a pretty aggressive, angry person because I reckon there was just too much pressure on me. But now I'm down here, it's a bit less pressure and more flexible. It's helped me calm down a lot. So yeah, I've been doing well down here. They've helped me out a lot.
You need to be able to give people chances. You need to not hold grudges, because if you do, it won't work. You need to be very calm and relaxed and not take things personally, because a lot of times you'll have students that blow up and they'll say things, and if you take them personally, you won't be coming back the next day.
If Wave wasn't here, I reckon I would have maybe dropped out, maybe gone down the hill a bit more. They've helped me stay at school a bit longer and get a job.
We've committed a senior leader position to provide the leadership there and a full-time teacher. We also ensure that there's adequate funds, all of the funds in fact, available so that a whole program can be offered in a general sense. There can be quite specific programs offered for groups of students. Then there's also funding available for individual students to pursue particular areas of interest and need. And as well as that, we want it to be a centre of innovation and excellence. So we make sure there's enough funding there also for us to be looking forward at where else can we go, how can we develop the program further.
The power of being able to work with principals from similar schools, that is very, very important and is a significant part of being able to talk about, well, how might we approach this, and I guess recognise that we actually can't solve these issues in our own schools. Our funding models make it tricky. It's not something that I've necessarily been able to do in my own school on my own. I do it because I have my colleagues supporting me.
Each of the students are entitled to a monetary figure in terms of their funding, what they're allocated per student. We work closely with Penny and also our business manager. She looks at what the resources, the total resources are for the Independent Learning Centre. We work with obviously allocating a number of teachers to the ILC, as well as support staff. And obviously we're very creative in terms of how we can maximise our dollar so that we can, I guess, utilise some of the resources that we have already at the Murray High School main campus, and obviously we've shared some of that with the ILC so that you see what you can see today.
It happens because of the network of ICAN and them providing information, but also linking in with other services as well. And I think that's absolutely crucial to any program, to have a whole pile of different services and networks out there. So they're always sending emails or ringing us up and letting us know what is happening in the region.
Some young people are facing such complex barriers that schools alone cannot cater for their needs. Partnerships with community are crucial in enabling young people with complex needs to stay connected to education. The community sector provides specialised knowledge, expertise and learning opportunities that support a strong socially inclusive model of schooling.
What the partnerships do with the council, with Anglicare, with SYC, is enable us to maximise resources. Basically, that's the bottom line, and not just physical resources, HR resources, and it also serves to connect those young people back into their community. build what are potentially fractured relationships because of offending behaviours or whatever it is, but it reconnects them to the place where they live as productive, positive members of the community.
Something I really like about attending the Centre for Creative Photography, Certificate for Photography, is like, you know, they give us equipment to use and like they show us how to use that equipment, and like when it comes to assessment they throw breakfast for us, which is nice. We do at the end of the term, assessment was probably my favourite part of last term, where we got to show our photos to everyone and talk about them and say, you know, what we did to get those photos. And yeah, I just found it really nice, and to get feedback from your fellow peers was really good too.
The other aspect of governance that's happening much more at the operational level is the fact that, certainly for the Northern Sound Centre, Community-Based Learning Centre, the fact that it is co-located with Anglicare, with Hyper, and that those agencies are running programs and are beginning now, because of that certainty of there's going to be this many young people here, they're now able to do some planning, not about how many youth workers do I need, but what kind of programs do we need to be running so that we can have some complementary and interdisciplinary service to these young people.
The community have really embraced the ILC, particularly those parents that I guess have seen a cycle within their own families of these students not being educated.
Here is a child we've known since day one needed assistance with education. Most of my time with Dana during schooling, I've wanted and tried to engage teachers in, you know, let's all work together. And it's not until we're now here at the Learning Centre I can finally say I've got that working relationship with staff here.
I would say she's found people here she trusts. I think it's the best way to put it. She knows people here will do the best thing by her, and it's more of a, I guess from my point of view and from her point of view, it's much more of a personal relationship with the people that are responsible for growing up and learning.
The community have seen the ILC as a beacon of hope for these individuals to then get I guess a pathway into work.
Flexible learning environments offer real alternatives for young people who are unable to succeed in the traditional classroom. Learning is tailored to individual needs and interests in diverse and innovative ways. Through a flexible learning enrolment, young people are achieving learning outcomes and moving confidently into further education or employment.
From a community point of view, it has high credibility, partly because of the clear outcomes for students and partly because the program operates so effectively in the community that many people come into contact with the program and with the young people in a range of ways.
When I found out I could count my CFS work as a part of SACE, I felt relieved, because I'm not very good at starting new things, and if it's something I know and I am good at, then it'll make it a lot easier for me. Being a part of the CFS, I do a lot of hands-on work, a lot of written work for courses as well. Being my age, I'm not 18 yet, I can only do a select few courses at the moment, but all of them pretty much go towards my SACE.
We're doing more of the non-traditional accreditation in the ILC, just because we don't have the huge range of mainstream subjects that happen in normal schools.
We have a major focus, however, on Certificate 3, so high-level vet courses, and by doing that we can help the students achieve their SACE.
I did some work experience in a couple of salons, and just recently I've done 2 months working in a salon full-time.
Accreditation is extremely important, and there are many ways to do this. Any vocational learning, they have statements of attainments, counts for SACE credits, which is fantastic. We might put back into community studies, make it write it as a subject and do it that way.
They paid for my Certificate 2 in hairdressing, they paid for me to do my course.
We've got many things happening outside the centre, like hairdressing, automotive, beauty, electrotechnology, IT. There's children's services, lots and lots of different courses, so students can be flexible and go off on their pathway.
There's no one kind of generic young person that we're talking about who will come in and be the same for the next 10 years. That certainly won't be the case. And so what we have to be prepared for is ongoing iteration and development of how the centres work. And I think the work that's happening, particularly using online learning tools, that co-constructed curriculum using iPads and iPhones to capture learning as it's happening, as they're going, is just fantastic.
I've had many conversations, particularly on days where there's a recognition, acknowledgement of achievement or completion, where young people have really spoken positively and often quite emotionally about the change that WAVE made to their lives and to their futures, and they often are sort of saying, well, you know, that's how it was then because I was under all these things, but through WAVE I was able to work through a number of those issues, and look at me now.
I make the most out my day, that's no word of a lie. Know it's good to have a go, then you're saying that you never try. Never take my time, always get up and go. Unless it comes to a verse, one to work on my flow. I'm certain to know why that you're leaving this way. There's a part of me that thinks you're determined to stay. I'm never earning a wage. With this hole in my pocket, my day job will consist with only making a profit. So I start from the bottom, work my way to the top. I bring the light to the shade, but the timing is wrong. So come along, follow me till our pockets are fat. You couldn't buy happiness even if you have your cash stacks, and I'm so mad from the way I was brought back, and thoughts that are so far from being relaxed. Leave it at that and put the pressure on me. All in a day's work, never what it's supposed to be. We out.